Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC. Welcome to Unacademy. My name is Nidhi. I'm an educator with Unacademy. So as you all know, we are just about to have our exam in next 4 months. June 5th is your prelims date. उस एग्जाम को ध्यान में रखते for 2022 as well as for 2023. We have with us today Miss Nishi Chaudhary, who is an IRS officer. She'll be here to help you with the strategy for this year and for the upcoming year, that is 2023. So, ma'am, please introduce yourself first and then we'll start with the questions.
Hi, my name is Nishi Chaudhary, as Nidhi just said, and I cracked UPSC in 2013. My rank was 334. After that, I've worked for 3-4 years in income tax department, and right now I'm on deputation. So I would be glad to answer your questions.
So, guys, the questions are welcome here. Good morning, Archana. We'll be welcoming your questions, guys. You can just, in the meanwhile, till the time you put up your questions, what should be the ideal strategy for the coming next 4 months, I would say, because June में एग्जाम है हमारा और बच्चे बहुत एंशियस हो जाते हैं कि प्रीलिम्स पे फोकस करें कि मेंस पे फोकस करें. आइडियली क्या अप्रोच होनी चाहिए अभी एट प्रेजेंट? अगर हम जनवरी एंड की बात करें, जून में हमारा एग्जाम है 2022, तो उसके लिए क्या एक स्ट्रैटेजी अप्रोच होनी चाहिए? एंड अगर हम नेक्स्ट ईयर की बात करें 23 की, देयर वुड बी अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट जो अभी प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट कर रहे होंगे. उनका न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन होगा कि यूपीएससी क्रैक करना है और अगले साल अटेम्प्ट करना है अपना पहला. तो क्या डिफरेंस क्या होना चाहिए दोनों अप्रोचेस में फॉर द कमिंग ईयर एंड द अपकमिंग ईयर?
So for those of you who want to give exam this year, since you have 4 months left, so I would not suggest you to go through the preparation of mains. So you can just forget about mains for the time being, and you can just focus on stuff which generally comes in prelims. And brush up your current affairs. Do read newspaper properly, because if you're reading newspaper properly, it is going to help you in mains as well. But do not have this fear of missing out, that I'm unable to prepare for mains, this, that. Just forget it. Just forget the subjects which are only relevant for mains. For people who are preparing for the next year, obviously there is a lot of time at hand. So I would say and I'm assuming that you're just starting to prepare. So you start with the basic books. Start with NCERTs and pick out 1 or 2 books for every subject. First of all, go through the syllabus, then shortlist your books, then read the syllabus 10 to 12 times, then start watching videos from here and there, and then start with your syllabus along with the newspaper.
All right, I hope that can be the beginning point. अगर हम यूपीएससी का इस बार का एग्जाम मैं कहूँ तो ने देखा है कि पिछले 2 बार से एग्जाम थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्चुअल पे शिफ्ट हुआ है, थोड़ा स्टैटिक पे शिफ्ट हुआ है. अगर आप मेंस के एग्जाम की बात करें या प्रीलिम्स के एग्जाम की बात करें, दोनों ही एग्जाम्स में इस बार बहुत ज़्यादा कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए, या फिर मैं कहूँगी कि एनसीईआरटी वापस से एक अपना उसका रेलेवेंस एनसीईआरटी का देखने को मिला. बहुत ज़्यादा करंट ओरिएंटेड नहीं था पेपर. देयर वर क्वेश्चंस, यस, ऐसा नहीं है आउटराइटली करंट के क्वेश्चंस थे ही नहीं, बट अगर स्टैटिक पोर्शन बहुत अच्छा है तो एग्जाम वाज रीचेबल. अगर आपने बहुत अच्छे से कॉन्सेप्ट्स अच्छे से अपने किए हैं तो उसके लिए अप्रोच शुड बी begin with NCERT 6th standard, or it should be 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or it should be just the advanced books, like whatever books that we are going to discuss about.
I think this is very personal, because I would not like to say that everybody should read NCERTs from class 6th, because let's say if you're a science student, you don't require to need NCERT of class 6th. But for economics, for subjects like geography, I really don't think NCERTs of class 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th would make a huge difference. But if you think that you have a lot of time at hand and you want to, like pace up. So you just want to keep it a little easy in the beginning, and then you want to pace up. So then it's a good beginning. Otherwise, class 9th NCERTs onwards are good to go. As you just said that examination is tilting towards conceptual. So like, should we focus only on conceptual, or should we just focus on static? Again, UPSC is very unpredictable that ways. So the best thing to do is that you always keep in mind that concepts is first thing which you should always try to understand. Not because you have to clear the exam, but because if by any chance you clear the exam and you don't know the concepts, then you'll end up in a place where you really know nothing. So concepts is one thing which you should actually focus on, and then if the exam is tilting towards concepts, it's like a good thing for you. Let's say if you're reading newspaper, then there are a lot of things in newspaper, although it may look like it's current, but there are a lot of terms in newspaper of one day, which somewhere somehow would be a concept to understand. So I think it's a mixed kind of preparation. You cannot bifurcate into two, that I'll just understand the concepts and then maybe I can leave the current portion. That is not a good strategy, because it can change any year. And if you have a good hold of one concepts, then examination will be easy for you to crack.
All right, there's a question coming up. मनीषा इज आस्किंग, मेरा ऑप्शनल कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है, क्या मुझे 2022 का एग्जाम देना चाहिए? मतलब बच्चे थोड़े एप्रीहेंसिव हैं अभी कि प्रीलिम्स आने वाला है, ऑप्शनल, बिकॉज वी अंडरस्टैंड, वी नो इट दैट ऑप्शनल इज वन ऑफ द मेजर फैक्टर्स in, I would not say cracking the exam altogether, but determining your rank, because GS would be somewhere close to, like everybody is going to be at the same pace. जिसने मेंस लिखा है कहीं ना कहीं वो बहुत क्लोज होंगे पेपर 1 2 3 4 के लिए, बट ऑप्शनल कैन बी एक्चुअली डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर व्हेन इट कम्स टू द रैंकिंग, कि आपने कितना अच्छा आपने परफॉर्म किया अपने ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट में. तो ऐसे में बहुत सारी एप्रीहेंशन बच्चों को ये होती हैं कि प्रीलिम से पहले ऑप्शनल तैयार कर लेते हैं अपना, सो दैट जो बाद के 3 महीने 3.5 महीने बचे हैं उसमें हम GS पे फोकस करें और ऑप्शनल को सिर्फ रिवाइज करें. तो ऐसे में आपका क्या सजेशन होगा कि अगर ऑप्शनल नहीं हुआ है तो क्या 2022 का एग्जाम देना चाहिए प्रीलिम्स?
I don't know कि किस स्टेज पे आपका ऑप्शनल कितना पड़ा है. Suppose you haven't touched your optional and now if you say that I haven't completed it, then that's an incomplete picture. But हाँ, ऐसा है कि आधा you know कि क्या है, सिलेबस पता है, कोई कोचिंग अटेंड की है, या ऑलमोस्ट पूरा सिलेबस एक आध बार देखा हुआ है, then it's not a big deal. बिकॉज माइंड में हम यही कर लेते हैं ना, 3.5 महीने एक रूल बना लिया कि बस GS पढ़ना है, ऐसा कुछ होना है नहीं. यू इवेंचुअली गेट बोर्ड विद वन थिंग, यू कैन ऑलवेज शिफ्ट टू अनदर. तो ये पर्सनल डिसीजन है, अगेन खुद से देखना कि कितना. और हाँ, एक ये भी चीज है कि यू माइट डाइव इनटू परफेक्शन, कि मैं पूरा परफेक्ट कर लूँ ऑप्शनल. बहुत बार ऐसा भी होता है परफेक्ट कर लो पर क्वेश्चन ऐसे आएंगे आपको हवा ही नहीं लगेगी कि करना क्या है. सो यू विल बी मेकिंग अप आंसर्स ड्यूरिंग द एग्जाम. So don't go into perfection, but if you feel like 40-50% I know, then I think it's not a big deal. You can cover it in next 3.5 months. But if you have age on your side, and if you think you have attempts left, and if you can afford not to give the exam this year, and you think you won't be demotivated by it, because then giving a gap of complete year is obviously mentally taxing, then you can decide the other way too.
Yeah. So all right. There are a lot of people who are asking, don't understand where and how to start the preparation if we have to start for 2023 attempt. Where to begin, basically? What should be the ideal, I would not say ideal approach, because everybody has their own, approach. Everybody has their own flaws and positive sides. So usko leke agar ek generic approach, I would not say a perfect approach, a generic approach towards जिनके पास 1.5 साल का समय है, वो एक्चुअली कहाँ से शुरू करें? सिलेबस समझें, PYQs देखें, कि सीधे दे शुड जंप डाइव इनटू NCERTs and newspaper reading? How should they go about? Let's talk about 2023.
Okay, so when you start preparing, see, the point is when anybody starts preparing, nobody knows much about it. That's a fact. So everybody has to begin from the scratch. First thing is syllabus. If you read syllabus, let's say 8 to 10 times, I'm not saying that just by reading the syllabus you'll understand as to what the concepts are, but at least you'll have an overview that these are the major topics that are needed to be covered, and I have to go in this direction. So your mind starts preparing that these are the subjects, this is the amount of syllabus that is there. Then you can pick up any subject, whichever you like and whichever you feel is easier for you to go ahead. Because let's say if you are a student of science background and in the very beginning you pick up something which is like you just don't know anything about it, then you might land up into a demotivating state. So what you can do is, because when you're beginning with it, just to build your motivation up, you start to catch the low hanging fruits, something which you already know, start reading that. And then as your confidence goes up, then you can start reading newspaper. Let's say after 15-20 days, you can start reading newspaper. Once you will start doing it, and if you're doing it for the first time, so there is like a 90% chance that you won't understand half of the things in the newspaper. So then you start doing your research on YouTube, on Google, about different terms, about exactly what is going on. Start listening to Sunset TV. Last time as we were discussing, so this is Sunset TV, which is a mixture of Rajya Sabha TV and Lok Sabha TV these days. Start listening to news on that. So that is how you'll build up. This is like, there is no perfect strategy from which subject should I begin and which book should I begin. But go through the syllabus, pick up any subject which you think is a low-hanging fruit for you. Begin from there. Then try to attempt the previous year questions of that. So in that way, you will have this feeling that yes, I can do it.
So basically, you have to build your confidence first to get into the preparation only, and then you have to just be consistent with what you are studying. You are trying to, take up things. All right. So, okay, there's a without coaching join case self study से selection होने के chances क्या है? We'll come to that question later. Before going to that question, a lot of times students come and ask कि अभी हमें 2-3 साल बाद एग्जाम करना है, या there are people who are preparing for like ग्रेजुएशन के साथ प्रिपरेशन शुरू कर देते हैं, तो उनके लिए करंट अफेयर्स या न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग की क्या अप्रोच होनी चाहिए? डू यू थिंक कि उनको जैसे ही वो प्रिपरेशन में एंटर करें, दे शुड गेट स्टार्ट विद द न्यूज़पेपर इमीडिएटली, और what should be the right approach basically? So let's say there's a student who's appearing for the exam in 2024, अभी ही started the preparation, उसके लिए करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ने की क्या अप्रोच है, क्या स्ट्रैटेजी, न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग की होनी चाहिए, नोट्स मेकिंग उसको कब से शुरू करनी चाहिए? That is one thing which is very, very commonly asked question.
See, current affairs generally you will see in examination that they only cover current affairs of last 12 months and not more than that generally. Sometimes you might feel कि बहुत पीछे का टॉपिक पूछ लिया है, तो वो इसलिए होता है because it might be relevant somehow this year also. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं उन्हीं 12 महीनों में से आया है. But the point is that when you are thinking that when should I start reading newspaper, it depends on your appetite for reading news and newspaper. So there are few people who like reading newspaper generally also. There are few people who just cannot stand newspapers. So finding out your category, then you can, if like you are one of those who do not like reading newspapers, then you start going to news channels like Sunset TV, start listening to debates, and you can start making your notes because that is not going to harm you. Right? If you have 3 years in your hand, you start making notes. Not necessarily you're going to revise these notes or put them somewhere, but yes, doing this activity will put your mind into that perspective. So, and then maybe like slight reading. I'm not saying that go cover to cover, but slight reading of newspapers. क्या चल रहा है देश में, इकोनॉमी में क्या चल रहा है, कुछ भी थोड़ा मोड़ा. So it will help you.
All right. So basically you're suggesting that it's no harm that you should start reading the newspaper, but उसमें नोट्स भी बना सकते हो, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स यू सीन दैट न्यूज़ आर कैरी फॉरवर्ड. कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं जो 2-3 साल तक कंटिन्यूएशन में चलती हैं, तो इट्स नो हार्म इफ यू आर मेकिंग योर नोट्स दैट वेज. ऑफ कोर्स दैट इज अ फैक्ट दैट यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू रीड एंड जंप इनटू दोज नोट्स अगेन एंड अगेन. You will be probably you will need probably the last 1 year's current affair notes. That is the time when you have to focus. Number 2, which I personally believe for current affairs, is that when you start reading the newspaper, it's not very easy to understand the newspaper as it is. It will take some time for your mind to accommodate with the kind of news and the kind of articles that you have to go through for your UPSC preparation, and how you can connect the newspaper articles or the news articles with your conceptual, your static standard books and syllabus. तो आई थिंक वो एक डेवलपमेंट हो जाता है इन द ड्यूरेशन, जब आप प्रॉपरली करंट अफेयर फोकस नहीं कर रहे हो. You're just trying to balance the strategy that way, or maybe you're just trying to connect with the dots, newspaper and conceptual. That is what for like quite some time we have seen that. Of course, UPSC is not going to ask you a very factual question. Unlike this year, they asked the cricket ka question, which was like very unlike UPSC. It was kind of a PCS question, direct question. Generally, it's not going to be direct factual question in UPSC, but yes, the content that is there in the news and the static topic that you are studying, you can correlate those things, और वो एक time लगता है उस चीज़ पर पहुँचने के लिए. So I think that would be the appropriate strategy for current affairs and reading newspaper in the beginning.
Yeah, and also if you have 3 years for something, you will bore the hell out of yourself, doing the same thing again and again. So the point is that I would not suggest like start reading static books and all, because I don't know. I mean, it can be person specific, but let's say you study geography now and then you keep it and then you are keeping that story for 3 years, you'll get bored. So the point is that the important things that are coming in newspaper, which are really relevant, let's say something related to sports or in general sports culture. So if you listen to a debate today on sports culture and maybe you do not come across anything in your preparation for next 3 years about it, and let's say somebody asks a question in interview regarding that. So because you have prepared your mind, you've read something about it, you've heard something about it, you'll be able, you'll be able to give a better answer. So that's all I'm saying. Just start shaping your personality, and newspaper current affairs helps a lot. But as Nidhi is saying, that is also a good idea if you want to correlate it to static portion. But I think that is personality specific. You look at your personality. If you're one of those who gets bored easily, then don't try that. If you're one of those who can, constantly work hard over something for 2-3 years, then you should go ahead with it.
All right. Yeah. So the next question coming up is, which is yes, again, a very common doubt, confusion या थोड़ा सा जो issue रहता है, how to manage time during the preparation for a work professional. अपनी तैयारी को कैसे टाइम दोगे अगर आप काम भी कर रहे हो साथ. There are a lot of students who are actually working and then preparing for UPSC.
So, as we were discussing also 2-3 days back, there is this saying that the amount of time that you have in your hands and the work that you have in your hands, you will stretch it according to the time. So, if you are a working professional, it's a good news for you that even if you study for 3 hours, that's not going to harm. I mean, efficiency will be more because you know that you have other things to do. So, you'll waste lesser time. Because in a day, if you look at it, the efficiency is generally 3 to 4 hours, not more than that, unless the exam is really on your head. So because the preparation is different in the last month and it's different in like 3 months before that, and it's very different in, let's say, 6 months before that. So if you're a working professional, you just try to give 2 to 3 hours every day, go through different subjects, or maybe like in that 3 hours, you can variate between 2 subjects. That's what, time is not an issue. So don't make it an issue in your head. This is all, we have heard it and that's why we believe it, but it's not true actually. So I don't know, like if you want me to tell you how to manage, I don't know how many number of hours you're working, but during the job also, if you feel you have time, like just switch from your work during your, let's say, working hours. Just go and listen to something, some news, some compilation of half an hour. So you're keeping your mind in that direction. It's not that you have to study for 10 hours a day. Just before your exam, let's say 2 months before prelims and 3 months before mains, you can plan your leaves, and that's good to go.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach. And efficiency, of course, we were discussing also the other day that जितना टाइम आपके पास होता है उतना ज़्यादा आप वेस्ट करते हो, जितना कम आपके पास टाइम होगा उतना आप efficiently यूज़ करोगे. या फिर I personally believe it's the optimal pressure thing. जितना प्रेशर होगा उतना ज़्यादा efficiently आप काम करते हो. Pressure of having lesser time will make your preparation more efficient. That is what we believe. So guys, we are open to the questions. You can put, send your questions here. Okay. Without coaching join के self study करने से selection हो जाएगा?
हो जाएगा. And believe me, I'm not lying when I'm saying this. Like, see, the point is, so most important thing which you should keep in your mind is when you are preparing for this exam, you should be your own teacher. You should be the person who is driving the car, and the people who are helping you, let's say on any of the platforms, they are helping you, they're guiding you. They are not giving the exam, you're going to give the exam. So if you think that you don't want to join a coaching institute for whatever reasons can be different. Few people, like it's not only about money, few people just do not want to be guided by others. That is also a reason for few people to not join coaching institutes. Few, they like to challenge themselves. So reason can be anything, but yes, if there is so much of resource available on internet, then why not use it? There is a lot of free resource. Too many videos are there on YouTube, and there are many blogs where people are creating content. So why not use it? That you can do, but then you'll have to work harder. Because when a teacher is teaching, so the teacher is compiling everything in a structured way so that it can directly be fed to you. But when you are trying to do it on your own, then you'll have to do that hard work. That you should know.
All right, I hope we've answered that question. The next question that is coming to us is economy and polity are main subjects. Suggest how to study them. What should be the approach for economics? Economics is one thing I think not very much students are, comfortable with economics. The economy as a subject, because mains के questions देख लें हम या prelims के type भी देख लें तो वो segregation नहीं हो पाता कि कितना depth में economics को पढ़ना है. It's not an easy subject that was technical या जिस भी तरह से, बहुत रेयरली आई फाउंड स्टूडेंट जो कहते हैं कि इकोनॉमिक्स वी आर कंफर्टेबल विद इकोनॉमी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है हमें, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स दैट आई हैव कम अक्रॉस इश्यूज हैं इकोनॉमी, साइंस एंड टेक जैसे टॉपिक्स में कि कैसे इनको किस तरह से अप्रोच करें, बिकॉज यूपीएससी इज आस्किंग टू हैव अ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द टॉपिक्स, दे आर नॉट आस्किंग यू टू excel in all the topics. So what should be the approach for, यहाँ पे I'll add for environment also, environment, economy और science and tech, actual approach क्या होनी चाहिए? It should be the newspaper focused or conceptual, how to go about these subjects?
See, if looking at your question, the three subjects that you have named, you have to understand that all these three subjects are conceptual. So one strategy which will not work with these subjects is you cannot cram. There is no point. So the easiest way to go about these subjects is you pick up the syllabus, you go to YouTube, find out small videos of 4 minutes, 5 minutes, go through each topic. And maybe like one day you can plan your day like this, that I'll do 15, 20 topics written in my syllabus only from YouTube, 5 minutes each. Just understand the concepts, make notes. Because you'll understand the concepts, but like economy, you'll forget also. That is also a fact. But once you understand, then you use these basic notes with whatever you are reading. Let's say you're reading class 11th economics book, or if you're reading newspaper. So you try to collaborate it with your newspaper. And when you're reading newspaper, if you come across a new term, then again you go to Google or YouTube or some blogger who is explaining it properly, wherever. Because why it becomes difficult is you try to learn it in a stretch. Chapter पढ़ रहे हैं. Economics is not about chapters. Environment is not about chapters. These are very content specific, and like you can segregate one chapter into like many smaller chapters. So the whole point is that you understand the concept, make notes of the concept, revise the concepts, then put those concepts to use. Because if I'm not talking about science and tech, I'm just talking about environment and economy. You will see that if you do this, economics will especially become very easy for you. Very, very easy. Economics is not tough. It's an extremely easy subject, but the only problem is that if I do not understand what, let's say, GDP is, then however hard I might try to cram as to what the GDP of the country is, I won't be able to put it into perspective and use it at different places. Whether it is my mains answer writing or interview, and I won't be able to, if it is a very conceptual question, won't be able to answer it in prelims as well. So the whole point is understand the concept and ask yourself, can I apply it? Do I really understand what this, let's say, newspaper report is trying to say anything? So can you visualize it as to what is happening? As far as science and tech goes, so it's generally very current oriented. So science and tech, it's good to cover it with newspaper only. For environment, also I would say that generally whatever is happening, that is asked. Something related to it, something nearby that topic is asked in the exam. But yes, there is a basic book also for environment, and I think you should like go about it so that you understand the basic concepts. Let's say carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. अगर basic ही नहीं पता है तो फिर वो सब हवा में. तो कुछ crammed portion है, अगर वो exam में आ गया अच्छा है, नहीं आया तो मतलब, because if you go about it in a holistic manner, you can use it anywhere. In essay writing, चाहे ना भी हो environment का, but if you have understood, you can put it somewhere.
Yeah, that's I think the better approach to go understand the concepts and then relate again current affairs जो चल रहा है, जैसे of course कुछ भी जो नए agreements है, नए conventions आए हैं current affairs environment को लेकर, that you have to have a clarity about. You just cannot be blank on those things कि नया कोई convention आ गया, net zero targets क्या है, इंडिया का क्या approach है, इंडिया का क्या stand है, not just for your prelims but I think for your answer writing also, and also for your interview, because this environment, as we all know, after 2013 it has become very, very important because of the inclusion of the forest services exam into UPSC ka IS wala exam na. So that is one thing. Anybody has questions here, you can put up your questions. I think I'm taking up almost everybody's question. You can ask your questions here also. एक चीज जो मुझे भी पूछनी है और बच्चे भी पूछते हैं, टाइम एंड अगेन पूछते हैं, what keeps you motivated? How can you keep yourself motivated? It is a long preparation. It's not a very short term preparation कि बस एक बार I enter किया और exam बस निकाल दिया. Sometimes it takes 2-3 years also. And what I personally believe, it takes around, मतलब कुछ शुरुआत के कुछ महीने तो सब्जेक्ट को, सिलेबस को समझने में निकलते हैं. So how to keep
Hmm.
yourself motivated on your toes, and consistency, which is the key for cracking the exam. It's not, I think, how brilliant you have been in your school, college. It's how consistent you are in your preparation. That is going to be the major factor playing a role in your selection. So how to keep yourself motivated all the way.
So one thing is, you should understand nobody is motivated 365 days of the year. That's a fact. Like even in normal life, we are not, you know. So first of all, you should know why UPSC. Why do you really want to do it? Because if you have that strong goal in your mind, for whatever reason, reasons can be different for everyone. If you have that, then that is the driving force. Having said that, if you feel that, you know, like, why am I not able to wake up on time? These are general problems which you face once you're preparing. That I had put an alarm of 5 o'clock. Why did I not wake up? So let's say you wake up at 10 after that. It's fine. Just calm down, because having lost 5 hours is not a big deal. But then if you lose your entire day over it, cribbing over it, then you wasted the entire day. And then also, even if you are following all, you know, like you're very disciplined and everything, you might feel sometimes, let's say you gave a test and your rank was poor, so you might feel that maybe I'm not worth it, maybe I shouldn't do it. But then just try to make yourself understand that there are lows, there are bad days, and it will pass. Just keep faith in yourself, have patience. If like you feel demotivated for a day or two, take a break. It's the thing. Do binge watching, then come back. But the whole point is that just don't start beating yourself up, because then you really lose track. That's how you keep yourself motivated. There'll be days of demotivation, no doubt about that.
All right. So एक और question है, which is again a very very common question common, I would say, because I teach polity, and this is one thing which I have been answering to almost every student, and making them understand how to read polity articles and remember them, because we keep forgetting them. Articles is one thing which people are very much concerned in polity. What do you suggest? Because of course we know it's not easy, or it's not even practical to learn all the articles which are given in the constitution. But at the same time, what should be the approach? How to identify which articles are important that ways, and you know किस तरह से उन्हें इतना तो रिटेन कर लें कि ठीक है एग्जाम में अगर आए तो वी कैन पुट, वी नो दैट यूपीएससी इज नॉट गोइंग टू आस्क यू स्ट्रेट आर्टिकल क्वेश्चन. But of course, in the
Mhm.
mains answer writing, I always suggest my students, if you can write the article, good. You're adding on to your, adding value to your answer if you're talking about any specific topic. So, how to,
Yeah.
what should be the approach for this thing?
I'll tell you how I did it. So go to the index, okay? Because now polity is interconnected in the sense that not exactly interconnected, but if you feel कि हाँ आर्टिकल 14 तो आता है पर लेट्स से 19 में प्रॉब्लम है या जो भी है, सबसे पहले ना इस पूरे इस सिलेबस का स्पेशली पॉलिटी एक स्ट्रक्चर है. गो टू द इंडेक्स, try to cram the index. Cram the index in the sense, I'm not saying just cram it, I'm saying that there are, like, you know, it is divided into portions. So first day what you can do is you can just go through the heads, that these are the portions in which the polity or the constitution is divided. Then what you can do is you can learn the articles, that this article 1 is about this, 2 is about this, without going into the nitty gritties, not knowing anything about what is inside. Then let's say you're reading article 14, but now in your mind you know that you know about DPSPs also, because you've read the structure of the entire constitution. And along with it, schedules, they are also important. But then if you look at the index, there is very less to learn, there is very less to cram also, I would say. So starting polity without actually having a structure in your head, and then you start reading from article 1 2, and then you go through these large texts, you lose interest. So you build your confidence first, go through the like, it's called brain mapping. You map it in your brain that these are the things that I have to read. Just like syllabus, with syllabus also we are doing the same thing, we're just mapping it in our brain, that I have to go through these different concepts. So you read it like 30-40 times, कहीं कहीं से कुछ 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 तो वो याद रह जाएगा. बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे नहीं भी होगा कि exactly article याद आ गया, but then prelims में you will be able to crack it. और वो धीरे धीरे याद हो जाता है. Not a big deal.
So that is what I also tell them, कि पता होना चाहिए कि actually क्या पढ़ रहे हैं. The structure has to be clear. Actually, yes, you should know that part 1 talks about this, part 2 talks about this, part 3 is this. तो एक थोड़ा एक वेग आइडिया आपके दिमाग में हमेशा रहेगा if you know the structure, entire structure of polity. कि ठीक है, पंचायत यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, DPSPs के बाद you have fundamental duties, and then you have union government, then you have state government. तो आपको थोड़ा एक वेग आइडिया होगा, और वेग आइडिया के साथ इफ विद दैट अप्रोच इफ यू गो एंड अंडर it's not going to be very specific. It's not going to be very specific, but हाँ, yes, as Nishi also said कि आपको स्ट्रक्चर के साथ पढ़ना पड़ेगा पॉलिटी. अगर आप बिल्कुल you just start layman with article 1, 2, 3 and start mugging them up, it's not going to be of any worth. It's not going to be there in your head. You can't retain that unless you have a mind map or a structure prepared, right?
Yeah.
Okay. एक और चीज़ है जो again sometimes I come across students who tend to ask कि मैम ये ऑप्शन लिया था, अब नहीं लग रहा है, 1.5 साल है, अगले साल करना है, can we switch our option? And what should be the right approach of choosing the optional subject? Because again, we have discussed about the options relevance in the final ranking, I would say. So what should be the right approach for a non-science humanities student or a science student? What should be the idea behind getting into a optional subject? ठीक है, this is the subject that I want to know. How to know for the students perspective, how to know themselves कि ठीक है, ये मेरे लिए option सही रहेगा. What should be that a way to identify and find out कि what should be the ideal option for me?
So like you will come across many people and they say this कि ये optional बहुत scoring है, ये ले लो. And I think it's a very bad strategy to go about, because hoga scoring, but if I don't have interest in that subject, I cannot read it for a very long period of time. If you are a science student, then you have to ask this question from yourself, that why do you, like, in the first place, want to opt for an art subject? Why? I'll tell you my reason. Like when I had given the exam, I had two optionals, and one was psychology and other one was public administration. I don't know, I could have gone through a science subject as well, but then the only thing was that I wanted to know about these two subjects. They really fascinated me. Not because I had opened some book or I really know the syllabus. I knew the syllabus, I didn't know anything about it, but the vague idea that I had about the world around me, I thought psychology is something which I should read and public administration is something which I should read. That's how I decided, and then I went about it. And public administration, especially in that year, gave extremely bad results. So, but then does it make sense to change the subject then? Maybe not. Maybe yes. It will depend on your discretion. When you are saying that you've prepared for a subject and then you are leaving it, then you have to ask yourself as to why are you doing it. If you have appeared in the exam and if you feel that you are unable to write good answers, then you have to identify why am I, maybe like, your writing skills are not good. And that is the reason that you are unable to get good marks in the subject, and not because subject per se is weak. Like you might be good at the subject and you do not know how to score marks in that subject. So if you've put efforts in something, I'm not saying that don't leave it, but rationalize it as to, like, have a rational reason as to why you're leaving it, because you've put efforts in it. So try to find out as to what is not working for you. Try to talk to 4-5 people, any mentor, anybody who's cracked the exam with that subject. And if at all, then you decide, then you can leave it, because otherwise it's a big Mahabharat. Again, you'll have to go through new subject. You'll have to read so many things. So that is a safe bet to keep your subject.
So I think that's a right approach, that you should know. And the subject, yes, there has to be an interest quotient also attached to what option you want to get into.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, non-humanities student, you're a science student, you have a choice of going into, math, science subjects. But uske baad bhi, if you're choosing a subject, like you also told that you chose public administration and psychology because that fascinated you. You wanted to know about them. You wanted to read the content of those subjects. And probably that is the reason that it worked for you. So I think that is the perfect strategy that way for optional also. And this is, all of us have been telling you always, that optional is one thing that you have to decide on your own. What are your interest areas? You might be very good in history, but you might not want to read history through and through. There can be one section of history that is fascinating to you, that is, you get attracted to. But there can be one subject which is like you want to know the ins and outs, cover to cover. That interest has to be there. The interest factor has to be there when you decide the optional. On that note, जब हम optional की बात कर रहे हैं, I would want to know how do a fresher, a student who has just begun the preparation, start into answer writing? Because again, prelims is just a, I would say, preliminary stage, elimination stage rather. I talk about prelims to be an elimination stage, जहाँ पे non-serious students gets eliminated and the serious ones are left. for the final exam. And mains answer writing, if you're not very good with the answer writing, again, you end up losing your, uh, this chance of getting through. So what should be the right approach of beginning the answer writing and how to go about it? And there are a lot of students who keep asking ki ma'am answer check kisse karaye. What do you suggest? Ki there has to be a mentor who has to check the answers. Of course, I'm not denying that there would be feedbacks which will be like genuine inputs coming from the mentors. But how can a student who is not, you know, self study wala, let's say, if they don't have a mentor, or if they have a mentor, how to go about it? The answer writing thing to begin and to the advanced level up till the time they are, appearing for the mains exam.
See, with answer writing, the most important thing is you cannot write an answer unless you have the knowledge about that particular topic. So we go back to the basics. That is, you have to understand the topic first. You should have the knowledge about it. So when you start preparing, let's say you've done 2 chapters according to your syllabus, and then you try to attempt answers. So you have to understand answer writing means what. There is a question in the first, let's say in the beginning of the answer, you have to explain as to what the question is asking. Then you have to write whatever you understand about the topic, and then you have to conclude on whichever side you want, or like if you want to go the medium way out, middle path. The whole point is that when you start writing answers in the beginning, your answers will not be that fine tuned, because if you have only read 2 chapters, you do not have the entire perspective in your head. But once you have studied the entire subject, those answers will also change, which you were writing initially for the first 2 chapters, because now you have entire knowledge. So you can, pull and pick things from other topics also, and you'll understand that I can put it here. I can adjust these things from paper 2 and I can put them here. So that's how the brain works. It starts, like network starts developing. So initially when you are writing answers are going to be lame. So don't blame yourself. It's okay. Should you get your answers checked by somebody? If you have an option, you can get it checked. That's what I said. You have to be sitting in the driver's seat. You are going to drive your car. If you do not have anybody who can check your answers, then leave it. Go to the internet, find out if somebody has written the answers, because there are few people who are top rankers, and what they do is they'll upload their answers. Just go and read those answers. Just see what you could have done differently to, make your answer look better. Just do that in your mind, because even if you get hundreds of answers checked by somebody, those questions are not going to come in the exam. So it is eventually going to be your confidence in yourself. I would say initially when you are beginning to prepare, don't obsess about answer writing, because the entire process gets derailed. So maybe you can start doing this once you are like into the subject, you understand the subject. Initially, it's difficult for everybody. But more important than answer writing is, first of all, you have to understand what are you reading, what is this particular thing all about, and how is it connected to different topics in my subject. So that will come with time.
Yeah. So on that note, अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि yes, I got your point that answer writing में it should be like beginning में you don't have to stress कि कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा क्या लिखें, how to begin. What I personally suggest the students is to go for the editorials in the beginning, understand what is given in the editorial, and start summarizing the editorial so that you know what are the important points that you have to pick from the editorials and you have to keep. And that is how you're going to, create, develop your mind in the right direction for answer writing, that these are the important sections that I have to put in an answer. Because again, UPSC की बात करें, मेंस की बात करें, तो we have questions जो 2 parts में होते हैं. They are factual type questions that are asked, the static section of the question, then it's an open-ended question where your observation, your understanding of the topics come into the picture. तो इसी से रिलेटेड दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि एक क्वेश्चन आया है एग्जाम में और उसको हम एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट पे फोकस करके डालें, what do you want to suggest here कि it has to be multi-dimensional answer or focusing on one single targeted answer. Multi-dimensional as in, suppose करो there's a question in modern history, the role of women, let's say. What do you perceive? तो उसमें हम क्या क्या चीजें, the economic condition can be put in, the societal condition can be put in, the historical things that were there, the position of women can be put in. So multi-dimensional approach would be the best approach for answer writing, or targeted single जो पूछा है बस straight उतना ही answer कर दो.
दोनों चीजें हैं इसमें. जैसे कई बार क्या होता है, हमें बहुत नॉलेज होती है किसी टॉपिक की, लेट्स से रोल ऑफ विमेन, एंड वी हैव रेड वेरी पैशनेटली अबाउट दिस, सो वी नो अ लॉट अबाउट इट. वहां पे we need to control ourselves because it's like human mind, you know, because I remember when I was giving mains, so there's this 2 pages are allotted for every answer, and I remember writing on the third page, like below the third page I was putting an arrow and writing there because I could not control my emotions. I wanted to write so much, but because I knew so much about it. So you have to control your urge. If you know so much about that topic, if you really know, then you can go to the like different facets of that particular topic. That will depend on your knowledge. If there is a topic about which you do not know multidimensionally, but you know in a singular dimension, then you stretch that, write about that. So the point is, जितना आता है उसे घर ले जाके तो क्या करेंगे, उसे एग्जाम में लिख देते हैं. बट टाइम देख के, ऐसा ना हो कि एक आंसर पे इतना इतना सेंटी हो गए कि बाकी कहाँ चले गए, क्योंकि है वो 10 ही नंबर का या 12 जो भी. सो दैट्स द होल पॉइंट.
इसी पे अगर एक इसी से रिलेटेड एक और क्वेश्चन, वर्ड लिमिट and also what should be the right approach of answer mains में especially कि can the learners, can the students leave a question or two, or should they try to attempt all the questions in the exam? And the word limit, how much importance is given to word limit in UPSC?
See, word limit is important for saving your own time. That's what I said. Now, when you get senti, you start writing too much about one answer, but we have to understand it's not going to fetch you more than the number of marks that question contains, right? So, like there are few questions which you do not know anything about. What you can do is when you are attempting the exam, you can just leave those questions while attempting it. And later, when you have time, when you know that these questions I don't know, like I have to write something in these questions, but I really don't know. So in last 10, 15, 20 minutes, write 2-3 lines in each question, because you don't know, something might fetch you 1 mark or 2 mark, but obviously qualitatively that is not going to add up in your the entire marks. But yeah, 1-2 marks are important, but do it only when you have time and when you're done with the rest of the things that you know. So then fill that also. What's the harm?
Okay, after mains, let's move towards to interview, right? When should a candidate or a learner or a aspirant start preparing for interview, and what should be the right kind of strategy for interview that way? Because 2022, yes, people will be going for prelims, mains and then interview. Then 23 also, तो 22 के जो aspirants हैं जो expect कर रहे हैं कि they'll be writing the mains and then they'll be called for interview, what should be the approach for them? And people who just begin their preparation, they want to attempt 2023 exam, उनका क्या एक approach होना चाहिए towards the interview part, and how what should be the right, I would say again, the right approach for interview?
See, when you start preparing for this exam from the day one, we don't know, but subconsciously we are preparing for the interview. So let's say when we are watching debates, and if we look at somebody answering to a particular question, one way or the other, we have opinions. We start forming those opinions कि ये क्या बोल रहा है, कैसे बोल रहा है, ठीक बोल रहा है कि गलत बोल रहा है. So these things start getting into our head. So one is that you don't know, but you're actually preparing for the interview because you're listening to people who are speaking. And that's why it's such an important medium. That's why I was saying that you should watch one TV channel, like some compilation from an audiovisual medium, because when you don't feel like reading, when you don't feel like studying, go and hang out on the TV or on YouTube. So you'll not even feel that you're wasting your time. And second is you're learning something, not only from the point of view of knowledge, but yes, also from the point of view of presentation, like how to put across what you want to say. So that is one holistic preparation that's keep on going when you are preparing. Even when you're reading newspaper, when you're reading your subjects, your personality is shaping up in a different way, right? You're not the same person as you were 2 years behind, 2 years before. Specifically, when you start preparing for interview, like the time that is there between mains and interview, the best strategy to go about is that you prepare a list of 200 to 300 questions. These questions should include your CV, what you have done before, where you come from, your city, your background, your parents, and like why UPSC, what will you do, something from ethics portion. Then social issues, let's say jot down some 20, 30 social issues, which somehow be relevant. Like I'm from Merit, so I was asked questions relevant to Merit. Since I'm from Meerut and we know like the condition of women, so I was asked questions about women specifically from there, or traffic in Meerut. So things relevant to your city. So like that, you can prepare a list of 300 questions and you can write answers as to what all do you think is relevant for that particular topic, and you can improve upon that. Then you can attend 2-3 mocks. So that will help in how to answer the questions, what to say, what not to say. One more thing I want to say here is that there are few interviews which are just fact based. So for that, like when anybody is preparing from mains to interview, that transition, generally nobody is reading facts. So if at all you don't know the facts, you could just plead sorry. Like if you don't remember the facts, you don't remember it. It's okay. But then don't waste your time cramming up facts in that last 1 to 2 months, because there are other things like you should focus in your speaking as to how are you putting things across.
On that note, there's just one small question here again. What should be the right approach when you don't know an answer? How should you take up that pressure?
I think there is no need to take the pressure, because there's nobody under the sun who really knows everything about everything. So the simple thing is you can just say, I'm sorry, I don't know this. So, or like a more diplomatic way to say is that I'm sorry, I'm unable to recall right now. Okay, so that's how you can go about it. As one thing I would like to add, that when you listen to news, when you listen to different people speaking, what you can try is, and this will help in your communication skills, you can listen and you can try to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Because generally when we are preparing, we have at least one room to ourselves. Generally, each one of us has. Even if you have roommates, you go outside, try to speak for a minute on any random topic. So that will help in removing that hesitation that comes while speaking. Because few people know a lot, but they get nervous. So they won't be able to speak anything. Just make it a habit, make it very normal.
All right. So I think we've answered almost whatever questions we were asked in the session. Closing note की अगर मैं बात करूँ तो एक बार quick strategy for 2022 and 2023. Prelims, mains, not interview had a quite discussion. प्रिलिम्स के लिए क्या अप्रोच होनी चाहिए? ओवरलैपिंग टॉपिक्स जो हैं प्रिलिम्स और मेंस के, वो अभी कर सकते हैं. लास्ट 2-3 months वी कैन लीव फॉर प्रिलिम्स फोकस्ड. रेलेवेंस ऑफ मॉक टेस्ट की क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है? As you might not be knowing, but okay, I want to tell the students also, we are having mock test every day, guys. इतना आप पढ़ते हो, you can just go and check your mock test on the Unacademy app. लिंक सारे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में आपको दिए होते हैं, तो यू कैन अटेम्प्ट दी मॉक टेस्ट. वी हैव कॉम्बैट एवरी संडे, जहाँ पे ऑल इंडिया लेवल के स्टूडेंट्स आर कमिंग एंड अपियरिंग फॉर द टेस्ट. वहाँ पे एक रियल टाइम एक्सेस आपको पता लग जाता है आपका. यू गेट टू नो हाउ एंड what are the loopholes, what are the weaknesses, how much more you need on a particular subject, your strengths and weaknesses identify कर सकते हो. तो फॉर अभी 2022 के लिए और 23 के लिए अगर मैं मॉक्स की बात करूँ, मॉक टेस्ट की बात करूँ, टेस्ट या फिर टेस्ट सीरीज की बात करूँ इन जनरल, how much important are these test series? And quick strategy for 2022, if you can go with the subjects, the books, if you want to discuss, you can go for the books also, because 2022 I don't think they have to go for NCERT right now, the less time we have. 23 they can go with the NCERTs and then the advanced books. And what should be the approach? It should be like one subject at a time, 2 subjects at a time, yeah, multiple subjects, and then the revision. I think I've asked a lot of questions, but these are the most important thing that students keep on asking every time they come and have a strategy session.
See, for 2022, I think there are around 4 months left, right? So, as I said initially, also forget mains. Forget there is anything after this prelims. Overlapping topics, it's a good thing that there are few overlapping topics. So when you're doing those overlapping topics, try to control your emotion. Although, you don't know as to how much should be read for mains, how much should be read for prelims over a particular topic. Nobody knows that. So you can go about those topics and you can feel happy that, yes, I'm preparing for mains as well, just to keep your mind in a healthy state. For 2022, as Nidhi is saying that now this is not the right time to pick up NCERTs. See, I'll tell you something about myself that might help. So when I was giving this exam, it was January, and at that point, the prelims was in May. And in January, I had given one mock test. And this coaching institute, I think, had 2,100 candidates, and my rank was 1,400 in January. And my preparation was really bad at that point of time. And this was around 20th of January, something like that. So when I received the result, I knew that I cannot crack it this year. But then I thought, like, I have time, like, at my hand, and let me try, So I just forgot everything, and I picked up every book which I thought I should for any subject. I didn't leave anything thinking that time is not there, because eventually when you're preparing for prelims, honestly, it's only 3.5 to 4 months which you really invest. So had my preparation been good, then I would have invested obviously lesser time in the last 4 months. But since my preparation was not in good shape, so I I went ahead in full speed, and I committed in those last 4 months. So the point is, even if you have not read NCERT, then it is very difficult to go about it if you don't know the basics, right? So don't go through NCERTs cover to cover. Don't try to complete the book. Try to complete the topic from anywhere. That will matter, of course, because they are not going to ask you the list of books that you've read. They're just going to put a question. You have to attend the question, right? So I think you'll have to choose as to what am I comfortable with. If you feel that NCERT will not suffice, if you feel, let's say, for geography, I should go through Coaching Leong, suppose you feel like that. But then you know that the amount of questions that are asked from geography, and especially from the concepts that are given in Coaching Leong, is only the second half of the book, not the first half. Then don't waste your time in the first half. That's how strategically you can do it. But this also you can only decide when you know the syllabus and when you have a fair idea of previous year questions. You can do this only then. So maybe you can allot 2-3 days in the beginning for that initially. Just go through all the questions. Second question that you asked about test series. I think test series is a good way to go about. First of all, it gives you a reality check. It lets you know that you know where you're standing. So when we say I'm not motivated, and once you get bad marks, you're like well motivated. One is that, so it's good. Second is, if you're attempting one mock every day, or if you're attempting one mock every other day, you're basically revising a lot of topics and you don't even know that you're revising it. But one thing I would like to suggest is that once you're done with your mock, and rather than focusing on the rank, focus on the answers. Because generally every test series, they'll explain as to why did they choose this option and why the other option is not fit. So in a way, you're reading different topics through that mock. So I think it's a great idea to go with mocks. For 2023, I think there is a lot of time. So you can just, as I initially said, go with the syllabus, read the previous year questions, then start choosing books. Go a little slow in the beginning, and since you have a lot of times, of course you'll feel कि ये नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है, वहाँ नहीं आ रहा है, यहाँ नहीं जा रहा है, क्योंकि time बहुत है. So this is how time will be killed. तो शुरू में पिकअप होना मुश्किल होगा. It won't be, but what you can do is you can use your time watching videos that are there on YouTube. That is easy also, because you are not doing anything. Make notes, so you'll feel you're chilling, and then you're learning also side by side.
Basically 2023, you still have time. You can start your preparation, understand and crack a strategy for yourself that suits you. It can be starting with the NCRTs or going with the videos that we have on different channels. I think there are a lot of videos, lot of topics that have been covered here or on the Unacademy app, where we take special classes, and the plus courses, of course, which are strategically created, and you know they're पूरे comprehensive courses हैं that we have come up with on Unacademy Plus subscription or Iconic subscription, that matter. If you want to go for that, you can go for that also. So in the beginning, you have to just begin the preparation and then just get into it, understanding the syllabus, going through the previous year questions, knowing what kind of questions are asked. As we know that there are very less repetitions. Questions are not repeated, but the topics from where the questions are asked, you can identify those topics with these previous year questions. If you're expecting कि अच्छा ये question same question आ जाएगा अगले साल या 2 साल बाद या 4 साल बाद और हम पूरे previous year question कर लें तो we'll get a good amount of questions repeated, that won't happen. Previous year questions, here I would say that they're just for the identification of the right kind of topic, or which are the topics that you have to prioritize, which are the topics that you can, a little, okay, ठीक है, कर लेंगे, you can give it a try, नहीं भी हो रहा है तो, but then it gives you an idea, this syllabus and previous year question, कि what has to be the approach, and then probably this will also make you understand what are the topics that interest you, क्योंकि अगर आपने थोड़ा सा syllabus समझा है और आपने थोड़ा भी background है तो you start solving the questions, आपको पता लग जाएगा कि ठीक है ये topics हैं जो मैं अच्छे से कर सकता हूँ और कर सकती हूँ, that ways. और faculty students are asking, that is not of any relevance here. Faculty क्या बताऊँ, faculty, every faculty, if you, yeah.
I just wanted to add for those people who have to attempt the exam this year. Let's say you haven't done anything in history. Suppose history is blank. So it's well known that only few topics from ancient are important, right? So rather than going about the entire ancient history, those specified topics should be read, because you have to utilize your time very well, right? In medieval also, we know that there are few topics like UPSC does not care about. So don't go through those topics, and obviously it's a risk, like everybody takes risks. So just take that risk and like let it be. कुछ और कहीं से आएगा तो छोड़ देंगे, देखा जाएगा. But modern history is very important. Then do modern history comprehensively. So I just gave one example. You can do this in like entire syllabus for each subject.
So I think हमने बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आंसर कर दिए हैं. साइंस एंड टेक वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड. मोहन, हमने क्वेश्चन आंसर कर दिया था. इफ एनीबडी हैज एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस यू कैन आस्क, पुट देम हियर, एल्स वील जस्ट वाइंड अप द सेशन गाइस. तो अगर आपके कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं, डाउट्स हैं, यू कैन पुट दोज क्वेश्चंस हियर. I think we have covered 2022 strategy also, 23 strategy also, how to begin, the importance of the different subjects we've discussed. Book list, there's a lot of book list. I don't think we need to ask Nishi for the book list here. And any other question that anybody has, you can put your questions and then we can just otherwise wind up the session. Before we wind up guys, and before you put up the questions, Unacademy gives you the combat ka option and also the plus subscriptions. Isme, if you want to use Educator code, you can use my code, which is NDLive10, through which you can avail 10% discount and also my guidance throughout your journey, throughout your preparation for prelims, mains, interview also. It can be plus combo, where options are also covered. You can go for iconic subscription, where you'll have mentor from Unacademy along with me. Of course, I'll be there to help you. So I think they're done with the questions. They don't have any questions. I think we've answered almost every doubt and confusion they've had. And on that note, we can just wind up the session. And I hope it was a pleasure talking to you and discussing things with you. Though motivation wala mujhe laga ki did not tell what kept you motivated, but you gave a generic answer ki theek hai, motivation has to
I'll tell you. Okay. It's personal and it might sound funny. So there were two movies which I really used to watch when I was down. One was October Sky and other was Erin Brockovich. October Sky has got nothing to do with UPSC. Erin Brockovich has again got nothing to do with UPSC, but somehow I had identified that these two movies, they give me a high. And when I watch them, I really want to do good things. So you can like find out your thing, what works for you. Like I've watched these movies too much. So you can find out your motivation as to what helps you. किसी का कोई फिक्स मोटिवेशन नहीं है. किसी को मिल्खा सिंह भी मोटिवेट कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Whatever you like, whatever you think. So you have to find out your own motivation.
Yes. So on that note, ma'am has told you कि भाई अपना motivation identify करो. It can be anything. You can attach anything with your goal, and that is one thing which will keep you motivated. It can be your, like I generally tell my students to keep a picture of your loved ones, जिनकी वजह से या जिसके लिए करना चाह रहे हो, अपने लिए करना चाह रहे हो, तो कुछ भी एक चीज अटैच कर लो अपने गोल के साथ. This is something which this is the ultimate thing that I have to do. So I think वो आपको खुद से मोटिवेट रखेगी. The students are now saying thank you ma'am. तो इसका मतलब ये कि सबको समझ में आ गया. And guys, you can leave your comments in the comment section also for questions if you have any. And next time we might try and have another session with all your Q&As. You can have ask me anything sessions also with Nishi. But you have to leave the comments in the comment section so that you can have specific questions and we can pick up those questions from the comment section and we can have a session on those questions also. Any last motivational thing or anything that you want to say to the students to just before we wind up the session?
So one thing when you're getting demotivated is please try and remind yourself that you are not the only one who is getting demotivated. Even your other contemporaries who are preparing do get frustrated because the preparation is too long to keep anybody motivated all the time. So whenever you feel motivated, as I said, don't try to beat yourself up. Like just have faith, be patient with yourself, give yourself some time. It's okay to waste some time. Few people are all the time walking with watches in their hands. Stop doing that. Don't create unnecessary pressure on your head, because that only decreases your efficiency. And don't compare your preparation with anyone else's preparation, because you won't believe it, but it's a very personal preparation. However general it might sound, but it's a very personal preparation. Every candidate who has cracked, they all have different strategies. They all like different things. So just have faith in yourself. And as I said in the beginning, sit in the driver's seat. Take the responsibility in yourself. So that will, give you a lot of confidence. Ki kar lenge, ho jayega. That's how. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I would like to thank Nishi again from our team, myself, and it was great talking to you. I think बहुत सारे doubts, confusions, एक general, एक बहुत ही subtle, बहुत ही आसान तरीके से you actually made it look like it's a very easy thing to go. And guys, anybody can crack the exam if you are like doing it the right way. Right way can be your way. There's no right wrong way for UPSC, if I may say so. It's whatever suits you, whatever is best for you. You are the best judge. We are here to just help you, guide you. So we just cannot appear for the exam for you. You have to appear. This is what she started with in the beginning also. So on that note, I would take your leave. Again, I would like to tell you my code, that is NDLive10. You can use this code for your Plus and Iconic subscriptions on the platform, and I'll be there to help you through and through. Just wind up the session now. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon, guys, so that आपसे हम मिलते रहें, आपको notifications मिलते रहें हमारे सारे sessions के, और special classes पर आते रहिए. थोड़ा और ज़्यादा स्ट्रैटेजिक तरीके से पढ़ाते हैं. आई वुड नॉट से दैट यूट्यूब पर नहीं पढ़ते, बट वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा कन्फाइन हो जाते हैं. वहाँ पर यू विल सी लाइक माइंडेड स्टूडेंट्स इन वन क्लास. सो दैट्स इट फ्रॉम आवर साइड. थैंक यू सो मच एवरीबडी. टेक केयर, स्टे सेफ एंड स्टे होम. डू नॉट गो आउट. गेट योरसेल्फ वैक्सीनेटेड इफ यू आर एलिजिबल फॉर दैट. एंड अभी तो 15 years प्लस हो गया, तो आई थिंक एवरीबडी हुज प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर UPSC इज एलिजिबल नाउ, गाइज. So just get yourself vaccinated. That's it from my side. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you.
And so everyone, we all know about UPSC platform. आपको पता है, this is India's top या best learning platform, the largest learning platform in India. जहाँ पे आप प्लस सब्सक्रिप्शन लेकर इंडिया के टॉप एजुकेटर्स से पढ़ सकते हैं, और आपको अनलिमिटेड एक्सेस मिलता है अक्रॉस दी प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर ऑल दी सब्जेक्ट्स. टॉप एजुकेटर्स के द्वारा प्रिपरेशन करने का. सब्सक्रिप्शन लेने के लिए आपको करना क्या है, आपको सिर्फ मेरा कोड यूज़ करना है, विच इज़ NDLive10. दिस इज़ द कोड दैट यू कैन यूज़ एंड टेक सब्सक्रिप्शन. This is about me. I am a graduate in English literature, master's in sociology and MBA. Almost 6 years teaching experience. It's going to be 6 years now. As this is the Telegram channel जहाँ पे आप मुझसे connect कर सकते हो about all the classes, information, कोई भी चीज़ about my class updates, ये सारी चीज़ें आपको मेरे टेलीग्राम चैनल पे मिल जाएंगी. ये इसका लिंक है, आप इसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके मुझे कनेक्ट कर सकते हो मेरे टेलीग्राम चैनल से. प्लस स्पेशल क्लासेस की अगर मैं बात करूं तो येस, स्पेशल क्लासेस हमारी होती हैं मंडे, दैट इज़ फ्रॉम टुमारो. इट्स गोइंग टू बी 1 PM एंड 5 PM. 2 टाइम पर ये क्लासेस होंगी. एक 1 बजे होगी, एक 5 बजे होगी. 1 बजे विल बी MCQ एंड 5 PM विल बी अ स्टैटिक टॉपिक. स्टैटिक लाइक आई एम डूइंग लक्ष्मीकांत हियर. आप मेरे साथ यहाँ पर लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ सकते हैं. प्लस कोर्स मेरा अभी एक ख़त्म हुआ है NCERT पॉलिटी मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री का कोर्स भी है। सब्सक्रिप्शन लेने के लिए अगेन यू जस्ट हैव टू यूज दिस कोड, NDLive10 इज माई कोड। इंट्रोडक्टरी प्राइस की कॉम्बो की मैं बात करूं तो बिकॉज ऑफ द ह्यूज रिस्पॉन्स दैट हैज कम फ्रॉम योर साइड, अनअकैडमी ने डिसाइड किया टू कंटिन्यू विद द प्रोमो। सॉरी, आई एम रियली सॉरी। या सो देयर वाज अ प्रॉब्लम देयर। इंट्रोडक्टरी प्राइस ऑफर में आपको 10% का एडिशनल डिस्काउंट मिल रहा है कॉम्बो सब्सक्रिप्शन पर, और ये कॉम्बो सब्सक्रिप्शन आपका 18 मंथ्स की वैलिडिटी का, 18 महीने के लिए वैलिड होगा ये सब्सक्रिप्शन, जिसमें आपको केवल 63,898 रुपये देने हैं और आपको लगभग 2023 मेंस तक आपकी प्रिपरेशन मतलब अनअकैडमी प्लेटफॉर्म पर हो सकती है। आप 2023 मेंस तक के लिए वैलिड होगा आपका ये सब्सक्रिप्शन। इसमें आप एजुकेटर कोड यूज़ करके, एजुकेटर कोड इज अगेन NDLive10, ये कोड यूज़ करके 10% का एडिशनल डिस्काउंट भी ले सकते हैं। अब यहाँ पर केवल आपकी प्लस में GS या फिर ऑप्शनल की तैयारी नहीं हो रही है, इट इज़ ऑल्सो गिविंग यू बुक्स। देयर 20 बुक्स क्यूरेटेड बाय द टॉप एजुकेटर्स एंड द टॉपर्स, प्लस टेस्ट सीरीज फॉर प्रीलिम्स, मेंस एंड ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट, तीनों की टेस्ट सीरीज आपको यहाँ पर मिल रही है। मेगा टेस्ट एज वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द मॉक टेस्ट सीरीज प्लेटफॉर्म पर चल रही है, जहाँ पे 15 क्वेश्चंस हैं, 15 मिनट में, हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों में अवेलेबल हैं। में अलग अलग एजुकेटर्स लाइक सौरभ पांडे सर मंडे को लेते हैं 10:30 बजे, उनकी टेस्ट सीरीज है। हिस्ट्री की महिपाल सर की है 6 PM। देन वी हैव साइंस एंड टेक रवि अग्रहरी सर का 4 बजे है वेंसडे को। थर्सडे, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे ऑल द टॉप एजुकेटर्स आर कमिंग अप विद दिस टेस्ट सीरीज। यू कैन अवेल दिस टेस्ट सीरीज। डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में सारी डिटेल्स आपको दी हैं। अनअकैडमी इज लॉन्चिंग ऑप्शनल चैनल फॉर यू ऑल ऑन द ह्यूज डिमांड, जो कि बायलिंगुअल और हिंदी मीडियम में होगा, जिसमें कंप्लीट ऑप्शनल एनालिसिस होगा जो 21 का पेपर है उसके लिए। इसमें अभी हमारे टॉप एजुकेटर्स हैं, मधुकर सर हैं, सुनील सर हैं, प्रतीक नायक सर हैं, सिद्धार्थ सर हैं। दीज आर द टॉप एजुकेटर्स विल बी टेकिंग योर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट हियर। यू कैन अवेल द बेनिफिट ऑफ द फ्री क्लासेस ऑन ऑप्शनल ऑन यूट्यूब। कॉम्बैट हर संडे होता है, आज हुआ है, इसके बाद अब होगा 29th नेक्स्ट संडे, दैट कमिंग संडे इज गोइंग टू बी 30th जनवरी को अगला कॉम्बैट है आपका, 11 बजे होता है, आप वो अटेंड कर सकते हैं। साथ में अनअकैडमी आपको आइकॉनिक सब्सक्रिप्शन के बेनिफिट देता है, जहां पर आपको लाइव मेंटोरिंग मिलती है, यू गेट स्टडी प्लानर, मेंस क्वेश्चन आंसर प्रैक्टिस, ओपन हाउस विद एजुकेटर्स वेयर यू कैन टॉक टू योर फेवरेट एजुकेटर्स, डिस्कस थिंग्स विद देम, आस्क देम स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चंस। साथ में लोन फैसिलिटी भी है अनअकैडमी पर, जिसमें आपको 0% इंटरेस्ट लगता है, नो प्रोसेसिंग फीस, फ्लेक्सिबल टेन्योर्स एंड मिनिमल पेपर वर्क यू हैव टू गिव। इसी में अगर आप मेरा कोड यूज करते हो NDLive10 तो यू विल गेट 10% का स्ट्रेट डिस्काउंट इन द सब्सक्रिप्शन। करना क्या है, आपको जाना है प्लेटफॉर्म पे, आपसे मांगा जाएगा रेफरल कोड, आपको अप्लाई करना है कोड, दिस इज माई कोड दैट आई हैव बीन टेलिंग यू, NDLive10, and you will get straight 10% discount in your plus and iconic subscription. इस कोड को आप यूज़ कर सकते हो अनअकैडमी पर अक्रॉस एनी प्लान। आप कोई भी सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना चाहते हैं आप यूज़ कर सकते हो मेरा कोड NDLive10 और अवेल कर सकते हो 10% का स्ट्रेट डिस्काउंट एंड माई गाइडेंस। अगर मैं बैचेस की बात करूँ तो 27 जनवरी से नए बैचेस शुरू हो रहे हैं 2022 और 2023 के लिए। बुक्स मैंने आपको बता दिया, हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों मीडियम में बुक्स मिलती हैं आपको। So have a targeted preparation, clear preparation and a comprehensive preparation so that you know you've done everything that is needed to prepare for the exam. That's it from my side, guys. I hope you liked the session. For more such sessions, you can leave your comments in the comment section and we'll come up with more sessions with specific and targeted questions. Today's session was a general session, general overview of the strategy with a lot of questions that were asked in between. बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर आप चाहते हैं कुछ और स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस जिनको जो आपके दिमाग में है, यू वांट क्लैरिटी ऑन दोज क्वेश्चंस, यू कैन आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस इन द कमेंट सेक्शन आफ्टर द क्लास. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Also hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications about all our upcoming videos. That's it from my side. Thank you so much, guys. And don't forget the code. The code is NDLive10. That's it from my side, guys. Thank you so much.